Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture, just to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, we are here. We are here to review episode 5 of Bel Air, entitled Excellence is Everywhere. All right, this is not going to be that long. So, as we do, we go over the children and then we go to the adults. So, we have Will. He's at his new basketball camp team, whatever this is. And he's struggling a little bit because he is now amongst people who have the hunger and the drive that he does, and they also have the work ethic. I think for Will, his natural talent has always pushed him to where he needed to be. He is now sitting amongst people who not only have the natural talent, but they also have the drive. So he's not struggling, but he is he's not way behind. He's not struggling so bad, but he is realizing that he has to step his game up. And one of the things that he has to step his game up with is that he has to learn how to swim. So who does he call? His good old buddy, Lisa. Lisa shows him how to swim. Now, there's a couple of things going on that I needed to go over that's going to intertwine Lisa into Will's story a little bit better. So, let's move on to Carlton. Carlton is still struggling. I keep telling y'all, I am so worried about Carlton. Because Carlton has told the BSU about his suffering with anxiety. And that old friend of his, the one that I think that he broke his arm, I think that's just the same little boy, somehow, some reason is telling Carlton, oh, you look like, that you need a little assistance or something like that. So he gives Carlton some drugs. Now, I don't know what type of drug that is, Is that heroin? Whatever it is. But Carlton is struggling because I thought he took the drug and he went into the bathroom and he flushed it. But Carlton did not flush it. We learn later that he is still, struggling with this drug. One of the things that is bothering me about that is that everybody is supposed to be paying attention to Carlton. Will's supposed to be paying attention to Carlton. Mom and dad is supposed to be paying attention to Carlton. And no one is paying attention to Carlton. So here's one of the big things now that because Lisa's the only one that's really keeping up with Carlton. We have an instance where Lisa, that a couple of episodes ago, Mrs. Banks hired Lisa to be her assistant. So Lisa is being her assistant. And while she's talking to Mrs. Banks, she mentions the protest and she was like, well, yeah. And she says, even with everything that happened with Carlton, Mrs. Banks turned around. She was like, what do you mean? What happened with Carlton? And so Lisa's had to tell her that, he had a panic attack. And so, now Uncle Phil is talking to Will about it. And Will was like, well, he says, well, Carlton was embarrassed about it and everything like that, but everything kind of worked out. And Uncle Phil reminded him, he says, listen, he is struggling. And, we have agreed for his medication to decrease, but not to the point that he's struggling. And, and you're supposed to be looking out for him. And the same thing goes with, Mrs. Banks talking to everybody's supposed to be looking out for Carlton. She talks to Carlton about it, and Carlton is trying to assure them that he's okay and all of this other stuff. But no one knows that he has those drugs in his backpack and that he's still struggling because he has this immense pressure about himself to be the best. That he is the best, to be the best, because father is the best, his mom is the best. He's struggling with this being the best instead of just being Carlton and do what's, he wants to go to Princeton. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Personally, I think, and I really do. Personally, I don't think he should go to any of those schools. I know those are the schools that he wants to go to, but I just think he needs to relax. I think he is going to be the child that needs a gap year. He is going to be the child that he doesn't need to go straight into Princeton. He needs to wait a year. He needs to be able to figure out what it is he wants to do if going to school is what he wants to do. Because I know he loves Formula Formula One racing. And I don't know. I know it's a dangerous thing, but definitely that type of thing and that type of skill will keep him focused enough, to be able to concentrate. It's just one of those jobs. So it's a high risk, uh, let me tell it, high death rate type of job. But obviously, there's a lot of people who do formula racing, and nothing has happened extremely drastic that I know of. But I just think, I don't know if college is going to be that thing for Carlton. It seems too much pressure for him. And he would need something that's going to allow for him to have some steam blown off. We have Hillary. Hillary is still working at the house, and she's losing some of the confidence from the house members, because they're used to walking the red carpet and all this other stuff. Kylo was able to get them on and walk the red carpet and do all this other stuff, and now they're sitting here with Hillary as the manager, and they're barely with this Spike Lemonade endorsement. And so excuse me, but Hillary is working, and she complains to her mom about, I can't do this, I can't do that, and she and Mrs. Banks basically tells her, listen, you're Hillary Banks. You know how to do this. You need to just step up and you need to do it and stop worrying about that, because Ivy is not in the house. Ivy is not managing anything. She is doing what she wants to do. And I'm still confused, y'all. Y'all let me know down in the comments. I thought Ivy and Hillary went in and purchased this house together. Was Ivy the only person that purchased the house? I am utter confusion about that. Because Ivy is pretty much acting as if she's the only one putting money down on the house. And if she is, then I can understand why she doesn't want certain things. But I thought that Hillary was putting money down on the house too, and she was managing the home. So y'all let me know down in the comments, because I'm confusion. So let's see with Hillary. The only other thing, her and Jazz are still kind of getting used to their relationship being public. And baby, Jazz done messed around and met one of Hillary's ex-boyfriends, honey. And he was all, the guy's a basketball player. And Jazz was all in this man's face talking and everything like that. And then come to find out that him and Hillary used to date. And what is his name? I can't think of what the basketball player's name is, but said basketball player was basically trying to hit on Hillary again. And Hillary got the bright idea that this would bring clicks and views to the house if he takes pictures with them. And so, Jazz is feeling kind of left out, and he tells Hillary, you need to go do your own thing. This is going to be great. So let's get back to Will. Now, Will, what I told you all earlier, he's kind of struggling in his, he's not struggling, but he's just realizing that, his raw talent is not going to take him everywhere. He's got to work a little harder than what he's working. He plays good basketball because he's talented like that. This section right here requires him to be the best he could be at all times. So because basically what he's doing, he's having to lift weights, he's having to run, they're having to do drills, they're having to do all of these things, because these are the things that build their stamina up so that they can play, and they can play at a high level. So, what is it? Doc tells Will, like next week or whatever, they're going to do some swim drills. Well, you all know Will can't swim. So he asked Lisa to help him with the swimming, and she does. But the thing about Lisa that irritates me is that she's thinking Will is reading her mind. In Lisa's head, she thinks that he's just going to come to her and say, listen, baby, I miss you this much, and we just, we gonna be together. But she's always putting barriers on that. So Will has just decided, okay, she's put these barriers that she doesn't want. That the barrier is that we're friends. So that's how Will is operating as friends. Lisa wants him to come to this realization that they're more than friends. And, like I said, she should tell Will how she feels, but she did not. So now let's get to the gala. Now, before I get to Will at this gala, let's talk about Mrs. Banks. Mrs. Banks is putting this thing together. She's got all this artwork and all this other stuff. And so she's feeling pressure from the foundation president, because they want to make sure that other artists are being exposed in this thing. And so she has this gallery option one way. The lady comes in, the one of the original older Miss Vivs, if you know who I'm talking about, Daphne Maxwell Reed. She comes. She is the foundation coordinator, or the foundation president, and she wants Vivian to put it a certain way. And then Vivian gets this idea. Everybody wants me to have this anyway, and I can't express what I'm feeling or what I'm doing. So she reaches back into her archive. She pulls out all her old stuff. She understands this certain theme, and she says there's more than enough room for all of this to go in there. So she adds more of her paintings, and then plus she added some more of the up and coming artist in there. And so she has it the way she wants to, and it's flowing, and it flows very well. The only issue that she's having at her gallery is the champagne ain't flowing like it need to. But they got more champagne, and it is flowing. We get to the gallery. Now let's get back to Lisa, Will, and Jackie. Apparently, Jackie is dancing with this tap dancing troupe. I've seen them on TikTok, and I've also seen them on Instagram. She's dancing with them, and she comes in and she runs into Lisa. She wants to know where they're supposed to go, and Lisa gives her this little encouragement about where she's supposed to go and do all this other stuff, and basically break a leg and all this other stuff. So they kind of hit it off. They're real nice towards each other. So the performance starts. She does all the little stuff. Jackie comes in at the last little minute. And the ladies are doing all the little tap dancing. Jackie comes in at the last minute, does her little ta-ta-ta, and then the dance ends, and everyone's clapping, and Lisa's all excited for it, everything like that. But Lisa sees how Will is responding to her. Will is just shaking and dancing and everything like that. And she was like, "Oh, y'all know each other?" This is Lisa. And Jack was like, "Yeah, we know each other," and they explain, that they know each other and everything like that. And you could definitely tell that Will is feeling Jackie right about now. And they are, I don't know if they've gone on any dates, but definitely that they're feeling each other. And that upsets Lisa. Lisa is upset. She's very upset about that. And at that point, she does tell Will that I guess basically she thought he was going to be her knight in shining armor and come in and save and stuff like that. But she's done. She's just absolutely done. And Will is looking a little dumbfounded, because he was like, "Wait a minute, you wanted to be friends. Now you want that old thing back. When I tried to get the old thing back, you didn't want it. You were playing hard to get." What's that? She's playing hard to get. Anyway. So Lisa is now considered that she's done, because Will is doing what, you said that you and him are going to be friends. So then you're going to be friends. And now it's like you wanted to be more than friends. You needed to make up your mind. Lisa messed up because she should have told Will how she felt during Ashley's birthday cruise. That's where Lisa messed up. So I don't really have too much empathy for Lisa losing Will like that, because if you wanted Will, you should have said something. You shouldn't have just been running around here just like, "Oh, he's going to read my mind and then everything is going to be cool." No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You need to go over there with Flatfoot Drew with his old flat-footed tail. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Now, we do see Jeffrey. Now, Jeffrey is still going through Uncle Phil's stuff. But Uncle Phil remember I told you, Uncle Phil kind of peaked the fact that Jeffrey was going through his stuff. And Uncle Phil knows why he's going through the stuff, because Jeffrey is trying to find his son, Frederick. I am so intrigued by what happened between Frederick and his father. What is going on? Because, in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that Jeffrey had been, Jeffrey had been rumored to have worked with MI6. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep that theme going with this Jeffrey. I'm interested to know what's going on, because Jeffrey is really really trying to figure out how to find his son. And I thought Uncle Phil was gonna fire him again, but Uncle Phil's like, we need to be there for Jeffrey because he's going through some stuff. He's trying to find Frederick. He's trying to find him, and he was telling Vivian, like I know, that's not going to be a good thing. So I am really curious as to what happened, as to why Jeffrey cannot see his son. What happened? Did he put his son's life in danger? Did him and his son's mother have some big... What's going on? That's going to be interesting. Also, and lastly, we see Uncle Phil, because I told you last week that we find out that Uncle Phil's old law firm is being absorbed by another law firm, because when Uncle Phil left, Uncle Phil was the hot shot of the firm, and the firm couldn't continue that, which is sad, which is really really sad, that you've got all these people, all of these partners, and none of these people could keep their clients in. That honestly made no sense. But anyway, they're barely hanging on. So Uncle Phil has a bright idea to see if he can get his clients back. He sets a meeting up with his client, and then old Erica shows up. And Erica shows up, and she lets him know, she's an attorney as well, that her firm has acquired Uncle Phil's old client, but she's also was able to offer Uncle Phil a placement in the new firm. So, which is crazy to me. I am confusion, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. But I guess when you lose a lot of clients and you have all these lawyers, people are, I guess law firms eat up other law firms all the time. So I guess that happens. So Uncle Phil is thinking about it, but he hasn't told Vivian about that. So I think that's everybody. I think basically Ashley, they're going to do to her like they did last season, which is sad. They give her a little abbreviated story and nothing happens. I really would love to see. Honestly, I think that they are not utilizing the character Ashley like they could. Ashley is in middle school, and that is just a wealth of story for a young person that's in middle school, and the trials and tribulations of a young person being in middle school. I think that they're missing big opportunities to tell stories about the pressures and things that go on with young people in middle school, because I don't know about anybody else, but when I was in middle school, that was one of the most confusing times, because you're not in elementary school, but you're not in high school, and you're having all of these different pressures, learning how to navigate the social world, and different things that you're learning, and then trying to figure out what it is you want to do for the rest of your life. All of these different things are going on, and I think they missed an opportunity. They're missing an opportunity. I don't know what's going on, what we have to come, but I surely would hope that they would get an opportunity. Listen, that's the prime age right about now, about how social media impacts young people. That's a whole great storyline with Ashley, because you remember last year, she was big into gaming, and all of that fell off. Also, this is a perfect time where she's exploring her feelings and things like that. I know that they briefly touched on her liking one of the young ladies from her group last year, but I think that they should explore all of that. Her being, exploring her feelings, whether she likes guys, whether she likes girls. That all of that stuff happens in middle school, and particularly happens to girls. You struggle with those types of things, and it would be great for those types of storylines to be pushed, other than Will and all of them. And, like I said, I'm still worried about Carlton. But I surely hope that they take the opportunity to really enhance Ashley's storyline, because there's so much more that they could be pursuing with this young person in middle school. Now, I remember with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that particular Ashley was interested in singing. Not this version of Ashley do that, but I really wish the gaming angle would have been played. And you know what I really would have loved to have seen is that she's a gamer and she has her little Twitch site. And then there's the pitfalls of having this gaming channel, because you got people that are literally trying to like groom her or whatever. And how Hillary, because Hillary's into that life, how Hillary should be guiding her. And then, there's a whole plethora of storyline with Ashley that I think that they're leaving on the table. But like I said, I'm going to give them an opportunity to kind of figure all of this out. But that's it. I don't want this to be too long. It's gotten longer than I want it to be. But tell me what you think of this episode. Again, I didn't go in with everything in the episode because I do want you all to watch it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Get down in the comments. What do you think Jeffrey did with his son, or what circumstances do you think happened where Jeffrey couldn't be with his son? Y'all put that down in the comments. Also put down, what do you think? What storyline would you like to see of Ashley other than just being the baby sister? Tell me about that. Let me know down in the comments. Also, what do you think is going to happen with Hillary in this house now that she's got this new brand deal and Ivy had nothing to do with it? Also, let me know, did you all understand or know whether or not Hillary paid some money for this house too? In the comments. What do you think old Miss Erica gonna do with Uncle Phil? You think she gonna try to hit on him because she let him know that she's single and ready to mingle? My gosh. All right, people. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, bye-bye.